Let's take a peek inside one of my membership tutorials, and I'll show you a quick and easy way to create a puddle reflection in Photoshop. And then we'll work on the puddle. So then I'm going to grab my lasso tool, and I have my feather at 5 pixels, and I'm just going to grab some of this ground down here for our puddle. I'll make a copy of that. Then I'm going to take the background and make a copy, and I'm going to drag it above. I'm going to do Control Command T and flip it vertical. And then I'll hold down the Alt or Option to clip it down to the puddle here. Now you can leave it like that, or you can move it around if you want something different in your reflection. Maybe I really liked how those lights look, so if you decide to leave that, that's totally perfect. But if you want the bottom reflected, I'll show you how to do that. So if you want the top, just leave it exactly like it is. If you want the bottom, you're going to want to do a little bit of perspective and distort. Okay, and then this is totally optional, but if you want to use a displacement map, which all of you should have access to at least one, possibly even more than that, you'll just go to Filter. Well, first I would convert it for a smart filter, because I find when I use displacement maps, I have to do it several times before I get the look that I want. So you're going to go to Filter, Distort, and Displace. I'll choose maybe 20 and 10, and then Tile is checked, and Repeat Edge Pixels, and then I'll click OK. And you just want to choose whichever one you want to use. Maybe I'll go with this and see what happens. So for this one, I got these little choppy kind of ripples in here. And again, like I said, you can keep going back if you like and getting different effects, put different numbers in your adjustments there and just see what you like. But I'm not going to use that today. I really like the look of this kind of smoother one, but I will show you one other thing that you can do if you want kind of that wavy effect, is you can go into the distort and then either the ripple or the wave. Now the ripple always, to me, I mean, it will give you these like kind of little, again, choppy type of waves. So if that's what you're going for, then that will work for you. And you can also choose small, medium, or large and just kind of play around with your amount. To me, it's usually a little too uniform for me. You can see down there. And then you also have, like I said, the wave. But what I was saying with the ripple is sometimes I'll just make another layer if I want to use that, and then just lower the opacity on it. And you have a lot more control options here in the wave. So if you just kind of want like a little bit of a wave in there, something more subtle, you can go from really dramatic to pretty subtle. So maybe you want something like this. And the last option is, if any of you have heard of the flood plugin. I've used that off and on over the years. I'm never consistent with it because for some reason it always ends up disappearing from my Photoshop, and it really is a pain in the butt to re-download it. So it's like sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. When I have it, I'll use it. If I don't, I just don't. But what I'm gonna do here is put a mask on it. I'm gonna lower the flow on this and just kind of erase any harder edges. I think I'll move this a little bit as well. For that I want to use warp, but I'm gonna have to rasterize that first. I want to move this a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and merge these together. So we just have our puddle here. I'm gonna kind of stretch this up a little. And then again, I'm gonna go in and just fade it out a bit. Then I'm going to get a brightness and contrast, and I'm just going to bring this down, invert it, and brush it along the edge. And I'll double click over here and bring up my blend if. I'm going to start by breaking apart these sliders by holding down the alter option, and I'm going to bring this over, and then I'm going to do the same with this one. And just a little bit on that one. I feel like I need a little more right here. I think I went too harsh with it. So I'm just gonna quickly do what we literally just did. I know most of you probably won't need to do this, so I'm just gonna try to make it quick. I just put a brightness and contrast on there, and I'm just gonna blend it out now. I'll flatten my brush a little bit. Then I'm going to go on this reflection and fade this out too.
Do you love Photoshop and want to learn more tips and tricks like this? Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more free, creative instructional tutorials like this one.